TESTIFY. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
If this is true, this is going to be a wild end to the prosecution's whole case against the diddler. If this is true, again, this is going to be wild. And I will say, Diddy is most definitely cooked. Let's take a look at this, okay? Allegedly, Brendan Paul, his mule, for lack of a better term, is going to be 110% testifying against the diddler. Now, here's the thing. This was clear. This was clear to me that this was going to happen because I'm going to be real. A few months back or several months back in December, okay, his charges were dropped. He was arrested. He was detained because he had a whole bunch of things on his person. Let's be real. He was arrested for the possession of yayo, the possession of the trees, etc. It was looking really, really bad for Brendan Paul. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this Syracuse basketball player, okay, suddenly got all of his charges dropped. And then instantly we're all asking, but why? Why was this stuff being dropped? And everybody speculated, okay, let's keep it a bean. He probably worked out a deal with the feds and he's probably going to be speaking out against Diddy. I think that's fair to assess that now more than ever, given the fact that the feds are now wrapping up their whole case right now. They're at the tail end of their thing right now. Yes, starting on Monday, they're finishing out with Jonathan, but then after Jonathan, they have a couple other people, and then they have some summary witnesses, basically to wrap everything up in a nice little bow. And I'm telling you right now, Diddy, we've already been saying he's cooked, he's cooked, he's cooked. For sure, there's moments in here where he has been cooked for sure. But now more than ever, the person, which was his right-hand man, his mule, for lack of a better term, that was helping him move specific substances across state lines, etc., is allegedly going to be taking the stand. This is very, very bad. We've already heard from the Jane Doe basically saying, yes, I've moved weight. I've moved chemicals, substances, party favors from LA to Miami 2 separate times. We've heard from her allegedly saying that Christina Coram, Diddy's right-hand woman, has done that as well. And she says she's done that several times, according to this Jane Doe. Again, this is not something that's far-fetched from Diddy. He's done this a million times. Let's be real, okay? He's had people move things, including Brendan Paul. And now the fact that he's going to be taking the stand and talking about he's reportedly going to take the stand, talking about his experience working for Diddy, moving these kinds of chemicals, these kinds of substances across state lines, even across the ocean, is going to be a very, very interesting thing to see and to hear, or even to read, because obviously we have been just covering all the updates on that keep on coming out from Inner City Press and from the news as well, while there are flies on the wall giving us live transcripts of everything that's been going on. Again, this particular person, Brendan Paul, knows a lot of stuff. Yes, we've heard things from Jonathan, we've heard things from other assistants, but this particular person had substances on his person when he was getting arrested. I'm just telling you guys, as the police pulled up to Diddy's plane, right? He's standing outside his plane. His plane had been grounded. He couldn't leave. You have Brendan Paul there, and on Brendan Paul is a little fanny pack or satchel or bag filled with all kinds of party favors. Diddy was planning on doing some things. He was planning on flying. He was planning on going somewhere to have a good time. Okay, let's be real. And those things now, all those party favors on Brendan Paul's person. That's bad. Now we're going to be hearing something and even more up to date of somebody experiencing moving these things across state lines for Diddy. This is going to be some crazy stuff. But let's take a look at this article here. Again, this is some bad stuff, y'all. This is not going to be good. If you are a pro Diddy person, this is not looking good for Diddy. This is not going to work out for him. And of course, a lot of us that are just sitting on the fence, sitting on either side. We are just waiting for the bombshell, and this could very well be that bombshell, at least when it comes to the DTing of things, the moving of substances across state lines. This is going to be big, and we don't know what else Brendan Paul has been made to do. We don't know. Maybe he is also one of those people that was setting things up for these freak offs and these hotel nights that Jane Doe and Cassie allegedly had to go through as well. So God only knows what kind of information he has and the things that he's experienced. So his testimony is going to be massive. But let's take a look at this, okay? Ahead of Diddy's ongoing trial, okay, hearing on June 16th, prosecutors might call multiple summary witnesses to present several records before the jury, as well as the rapper's former assistant, aka his D Mule. I can't use that word, okay? But his D Mule, Brendan Paul, okay, to testify against Diddy. This is massive, guys. They worked this out several months ago, especially, like I said, when these charges were dropped. That was dead giveaway. You can see that from a mile away. They were like, oh, hell no. Hell to the nah. We need you more testifying against Diddy so we can take this big guy down. You're a small fish. You're a minnow. We need the whale. And that's exactly what happened here for sure, okay? Which is absolutely crazy, okay? But we already know that Brendan Paul, okay, who is a former Syracuse men's basketball player, apparently was working for Diddy as his main assistant, which is massive because a lot of these guys that have taken the stand have been AKA main assistants for Diddy, okay? So Brendan was arrested around the same time the feds raided Diddy's LA and Miami mansions in March of 2024, and charged with felony yayo possession at this specific executive airport in Miami. Okay, after feds found trees, okay, that Mary Jane and yayo in his bag. Yeah, he wasn't hiding this ish. Okay, however, the charges against Brendan Paul were dropped in December of 2024. Which is attorney Brian Bieber, no relation to Justin Bieber, confirmed to People, stating that his quote-unquote case was formally dismissed today in its entirety. Brennan had entered a plea deal in May of 2024, which was offered to non-violent defendants with no priors. So he accepted. This is what they said in a quote or in a statement, okay? Brennan accepted the prosecutor's offer to permit his entry into a diversion program, which, after completion, the case against him will be dismissed in its entirety. This is what Brendan Paul's lawyer said, okay? Now, of course, his bond was set for $2,500. Clearly, he was able to get bailed out pretty damn quickly, okay? And now he apparently has completed the pretrial program by December of 2024. Okay. So according to the Washington Post report dated June 13th, this is a part that I do not agree with. I think it's the dumbest thing that they're doing. They should bring this person in, but apparently the feds are they've decided against calling KK, Christina Korm, which I think is the dumbest thing in the history of dumb. Okay, they need to bring this person in because she has been named so many times in multiple testimonies, okay, and being portrayed as a co-conspirator that I'm just like, you need to bring her in and she needs to testify against Diddy. But you never know. She might be brought in for Diddy. You just never know. But nonetheless, this is all very, very bad for Diddy, given the fact that you have Brendan Paul, his D Mule, coming out and testifying against the diddler. The fact that he got some sort of plea deal says so much. He knows so much, especially even more up to date, more recent, okay, about all of the freak off parties, the hotel nights, the king nights, whatever you want to call them. He knows a lot about that stuff, even up to the very last day that Diddy was partying and got arrested himself in New York. So all of this is going to be really, really bad. I'm telling you right now, this coming week is going to be insane. I will be live covering it all as best as I can. It's going to be nuck and futz, y'all, and I'm here for it. But what say you? Do you think that Brendan Paul is going to come out and just like guns blazing type situation? Or do you think it's going to be faulty and weird and a roller coaster ride like the Jane Doe testimony that we've seen? Because that one was one hell of a roller coaster ride for sure. That one was insane. But what say you? Do you think he's going to come out and destroy? Or do you think it's going to be a nothing burger? Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. And we'll talk here very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
PASCAL. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.